Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, I have a chilling story for you, sent in by a listener named It's a True Account from her family's past, a story she calls The Spirit's Nest Behind the House. This terrifying ordeal took place back in 2003 in a quiet village in Kophang Spu Province, Cambodia. It's a story about a house, a grove of trees, and a series of events so strange and horrifying that they ultimately led to the tragic death of her grandmother. Sokiet begins her story by explaining that her mother was the youngest daughter in the family, after her mother's older siblings married and moved out to start their own lives. The family land and the old wooden house were passed down to her parents. For years, life was peaceful. The house, though old and weathered, was a place of comfort and happy memories. Nothing out of the ordinary ever happened. But that all changed when Sokiet was about 10 years old. By then, the family had grown, and the small wooden house was becoming cramped. Her grandmother decided it was time to build a new, larger home, a sturdy brick house with a traditional wooden upper floor. Everyone in the family agreed it was a great idea, excited at the prospect of a new beginning. Little did they know, this decision would awaken something that had been sleeping silently behind their home. You see, directly behind their old house stood a dense, dark grove. It was a tangled patch of land, thick with mango trees, banana plants, and towering palms. The foliage was so overgrown and shadowy that it felt like a world of its own. No one ever dared to venture deep into it. The furthest anyone went was to the edge to pick vegetables that grew wild there. It was a place everyone knew, but no one truly knew. As construction for the new house began, the family needed to clear some space. They started by cutting down several trees in the grove. Banana trees were felled. Some old mangoes were chopped down, and even a few coconut palms were brought to the ground. It seemed like a necessary, practical step. But with each tree that fell, they were unknowingly disturbing something ancient and unseen. The very first night after the trees were cut, the strangeness began. Sokiet's grandfather, an early riser, woke up before dawn to stretch his legs as he always did. As he looked out towards the back of the house, he froze. There, in the darkness where the grove once stood, he saw something inexplicable. Floating balls of fire, like eerie, silent lanterns, flickering and dancing up and down in the pitch black. He watched, paralyzed with fear, as they bobbed and weaved through the remaining trees. He stumbled back inside, his heart pounding, but sleep was impossible. For the rest of the night, strange, whispering voices echoed from just outside the walls of the house, seeming to come from every direction at once. They were faint, like the rustling of leaves, but they carried an intelligence, a malevolence that made his blood run cold. By morning, he was a changed man. He fell gravely ill, his face pale and drawn. He refused to eat, refused to speak, and just lay in his bed, staring silently at the ceiling. The family, worried initially, thought he was just exhausted from the hard labor of cutting down the trees. But after a day or two, when he had regained a little of his strength, he finally told them what he had seen and heard that night. With a trembling voice, he said, "Those weren't normal lights. They weren't fires from a neighbor or anything explainable. They were spirit fires." The words hung in the air, heavy with a terrifying certainty. Hearing this, Sokiet's grandmother was gripped with fear. She didn't hesitate. She immediately sent for a Kru Khmer, a spiritual master, to come to the house and perform a ritual. She hoped he could appease whatever spirits they had angered and drive away the malevolent energy that had attached itself to their home. The master came, performed his ceremonies, and for a while, a fragile sense of calm returned to the household. The strange whispers ceased. The phantom lights disappeared. And the family, though still shaken, breathed a collective sigh of relief. With the supernatural events seemingly resolved, construction on the new house resumed. Everyone threw themselves into the work, eager to move forward and put the frightening incident behind them. The new brick and wood house rose from the ground, strong and promising. Finally, the day came when it was finished. The family moved in, their hearts filled with hope for a fresh start. They believed the nightmare was over. They thought the ritual had worked and that the spirits had been appeased, but they were wrong. This was only the beginning. The real horror had not even started. The new house was built, But it wasn't just their family who had moved in. Something else had followed them from the grove, and it was waiting. Sokiet's story continues, and believe me, it gets much darker from here. If you're ready to hear what happened next, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because you won't want to miss the next part of this chilling true story. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.